What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kenzo for Life here, and today we're going to be talking about how Xbox made $5.7 billion, then fired everyone. Okay, I need you to make this make sense. In the first 3 months of 2025, Microsoft's gaming division ranked in a cool 5.72 billion in revenue. That's not a typo. It's a 5% jump from the year before, making it the best third quarter Xbox has ever had, financially speaking. This money printing machine was chugging along thanks to the absolute juggernaut that is Game Pass. The never-ending reign of Call of Duty and the blocky little game that could, Minecraft. And then there's the other hand, the one holding a big old stack of pink slips. In the past year or so, Microsoft has been on a firing spree, cutting thousands of jobs across its gaming division. This wasn't just spring cleaning, it was a demolition. It saw the shuttering of studios like Arcane Austin and, most bafflingly, Tango Gameworks, the brilliant minds behind the universally adored, award-winning gem Hi-Fi Rush. So here's the part that's giving me whiplash. How does a company hit record-breaking financial numbers and in the same breath gut its most creative and successful teams? This isn't a story about a company on the ropes. This is an investigation into how the pressures from the mothership, Microsoft, are creating a bizarre reality where record profits mean absolutely nothing for your job security. In an email about the studio's closures, the head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty, said the cuts were about a reprioritization of titles and resources. You know, corporate speak for thanks for the great games, now please pack your things. And look, the numbers really are good. Xbox content and service revenue is up 8%. PC Game Pass subscriptions, a massive 45% increase year over year. They were the top publisher for pre-orders on Xbox and PlayStation for the quarter. The numbers paint a picture of a division that's absolutely crushing it. So why is this happening? Why is Xbox celebrating its biggest quarter ever by showing some of its most talented developers the door? The vague talk about synergy and prioritizing impact isn't the real answer. To find that, we have to look past the green Xbox logo and up the corporate ladder to Microsoft itself. The first piece of this very expensive puzzle is the biggest add to cart moment in tech history. The almost $70 billion buyout of Activision Blizzard. When the deal closed in late 2023, it was supposed to be the final Infinity Stone in Xbox's gauntlet. They got Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and your mom's favorite time waster, Candy Crush. It was a huge power move. But when you write a check that big, the people in Redmond start tapping their watches immediately. Think of it like buying a Ferrari with a loan you can't really afford. The second you drive it off the lot, the only thing you can think about is the monthly payment. Every single quarter, shareholders are staring at the balance sheet asking, so, is this thing paying for itself yet? That $68.7 billion isn't just a number. It's a massive debt that the gaming division is now under immense pressure to pay back, like yesterday. This creates a culture where every project and every employee is judged by one metric. Are you making the money back right now? The answer is, well, in the long run, you're in trouble. The first wave of 1,900 layoffs in early 2024, hitting mostly Activision Blizzard, was the first tremor. That was chalked up to the post-acquisition synergies, a chilly corporate phrase for firing people who do the same job. But the cuts kept coming, leading to the studio closures in May 2024. This wasn't synergy anymore. This was a frantic hunt for couch cushion change to help justify that monumental price tag. The studios and people being cut are paying the price for a shopping spree they never went on. The second ingredient in this confusing stew is the very strategy that defines modern Xbox Game Pass. Phil Spencer and his team built something genuinely great for gamers. It's the all-you-can-eat buffet of gaming, and the value is undeniable. But for the business, it's a nail-biting, high-stakes poker game. Keeping that buffet stocked costs billions. Microsoft has been on a buying spree for years, acquiring studios and paying for third-party games to fill the library. The entire model is built on getting millions of people to subscribe and stay subscribed for the long haul, not on big, splashy individual game sales. And while Game Pass is growing, it hasn't quite reached the printing free money stage that would get the suits at corporate to stop sweating. That 45% growth in PC Game Pass is awesome, but it's growth on a model that's still incredibly expensive to maintain. This creates a huge conflict. Xbox is playing chess, trying to build an ecosystem for the next decade. But Microsoft, staring at that Activision-sized hole in its pocket, is playing checkers and wants its king now. When the main office looks at the gaming division's finances, they see a huge ongoing cost of Game Pass and sagging hardware sales, which were down another 6% in early 2025. They see a division that, despite record revenue, is incredibly expensive to run. In that kind of environment, a beautiful, smaller game became a liability. A game like Hi-Fi Rush can win awards, steal the hearts of gamers, and be hailed as one of the best titles of the year. But if it doesn't single-handedly cost 1 million people to sign up for Game Pass, the spreadsheet declares it a failure. The closure of Tango Gameworks sent a terrifying message to every developer. Creating a universally beloved game isn't enough to save you. Your reward for critical acclaim might just be a pink slip because you didn't please the algorithm. The final and maybe most important reason for all this chaos has almost nothing to do with video games. It's about Microsoft's new golden child, artificial intelligence. Right now, Microsoft is in an all-out bare-knuckle brawl with Google and Amazon to rule the world of AI. This isn't a hobby. CEO Satya Nadella is betting the entire company's future on it. And that bet is mind-bogglingly expensive. We're talking tens of billions of dollars a year. just on building data centers and buying the superpower computer chips to run it all. When a company decides to spend that much money on one thing, where do you think it finds the cash? By shaking down the other divisions for every single penny. The gaming division, with its thousands of employees and pricey game development, looks like a juicy, low-hanging fruit. The layoffs at Xbox aren't happening in a vacuum. They are part of a massive company-wide pivot to funnel every possible resource into the AI furnace. Microsoft's overall net income for the quarter was a jaw-dropping $25.8 billion, up 18%, driven mostly by its AI and cloud business. From the 30,000-foot view of the C-suite firing a few thousand game developers to fund the AI rocket ship that's making them all that money is just business. This is why the messaging from Xbox leadership feels so completely scrambled. They can say the gaming business is stronger than ever, because by revenue and player numbers, it is. But that strength doesn't matter when the parent company decides that money is better spent on training robots. Xbox isn't just fighting Sony anymore. It's fighting for its budget against Microsoft's own AI ambitions. And it looks like it's losing. Let's be real for a second. This isn't just about balance sheets. It's about thousands of incredibly talented people, artists, programmers, designers whose lives and careers just got tossed into a blunder. The reaction from developers was heartbreaking and furious. Dinga Bakaba, the head of Arcane Lion, one of the studios that wasn't shut down, the closures, a fucking gut stab. He begged executives on social media, writing, "Friendly reminder that video games are an entertainment cultural industry. And your business as a corporation is to take care of your artists and entertainers and help them create value for you." His words perfectly capture the canyon-sized gap between the people who bleed for these games and the corporations that own them. For years, the story was that Microsoft was buying studios to protect and nurture them. Now, it feels like they were just assets to be acquired and then sold for parts when they became inconvenient. Closing Tango Gameworks right after they deliver a smash hit like Hi-Fi Rush feels particularly cynical. It's an unbelievable waste of talent, passion, and the goodwill they had just earned. And what about the people left? How can you pour your soul into your work at an Xbox studio knowing that no matter how much praise you get or how many awards you win, your studio could be deleted overnight to free up cash for an AI data center in Iowa? The long-term damage this does to morale and creativity is impossible to quantify, but it's going to leave a scar. So, we're back where we started. Xbox is making more money than ever and firing the people who make it happen. Why? Because this was never about how well Xbox was doing. It was about the crushing financial pressure from the Activision Blizzard deal. It was about the high wire act of the Game Pass model. And more than anything, it was about the parent company, Microsoft, eating its own gaming division to feed its all-consuming AI obsession. Xbox leaders are stuck in the middle, forcing to read corporate approved scripts about synergy, while also trying to convince us they care about games. The result is a confusing, frustrating, and deeply painful time for Xbox, leaving everyone from developers to fans feeling confused and a little betrayed. This whole mess brings up a huge question for the entire games industry. Is this what the future looks like? Is having a handful of tech mega corporations owning everything good for gaming? Or are we headed for a future where spreadsheets, not designers, have the final say on what gets made? There are no easy answers here, and I really want to know what you think. Are these layoffs just the ugly but necessary cost of doing business at this insane scale? Or is Microsoft trading the soul of Xbox for a shot at AI dominance? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for watching. And until next time, you guys, stay frosty.